That's a very kind introduction. So let the speed dating begin. So Far East Gold, we are a junior exploration company. We listed on the ASX on the 28th of March. We went to raise a minimum of 8 million and we raised just under 12. Well, as of this morning, I think we're about a 70 million market cap. Don't know what we are this afternoon. The projects that we have 3 really exciting projects in Indonesia that are very advanced. Across our portfolio of projects, over 41,000 metres of drilling has happened, and one of our projects in Indonesia actually has a million ounce, 1.15 million ounce JORC resource estimate on it. We've pulled together a board and an experienced management team for our projects. I'm one of the co-founders. Another one of my co-founders is a fellow by the name of Justin Werner, who's the managing director of Nickel Mines, or Nickel Industries now. Between the board, we've raised over $1 billion for mining operations in Indonesia. So we have a really good background and understanding of the risks and issues and challenges of doing business in Indonesia and being successful in that jurisdiction. And we think we've got some great projects which, with a great team that we have, we're able to take forward and create some value. Because across the portfolio we have a swathe of walk-up drill targets and some really interesting opportunities, which I'd like to run through now. 6 projects, 15 minutes. I'm going to probably spend most of my time on the Woyla project, which... So, as you can see the map up there, there's 3 projects up in Indonesia: Woyla, Trenggalek and Wonogiri up on the Sunda Magmatic Arc, and 3 in Queensland, 2 in the Drummond Basin and 1 in Connors Arc. The Sunda Magmatic Arc is considered, it houses some amazing deposits, and in our opinion it's generally underexplored for what potential it has. Now, our projects in Indonesia, Woyla, 24,000 hectares, it's early stage. A lot of exploration's been done early stage, but no drilling. In our opinion, we think it's the best undrilled prospect in Southeast Asia, and we'd like to change that description very soon. And make it the best drilled prospect in Southeast Asia. Our other projects, Trenggalek, it is a 12,000 hectare IUP OP, which is a form of tenure which actually means we can develop a mine on site if we wanted to. It hasn't got a JORC resource, but it has a permit to build a mine. Wonogiri does have a JORC resource, has scoping studies done, has a lot of work done, firming up what's available as a really interesting near-term development opportunity. But our focus on that is actually getting the mining licence. And then we have these 3 great assets in Queensland, which are highly prospective and much more early stage. 2 of them have been drilled. But if you put in context, about $40-odd million has been spent on the Indonesian assets to date, and only about $2.5 million on the Australian assets. So they may not seem as interesting when you talk through them, but they are certainly exciting. They're certainly in some good territory with some results coming out in the Drummond Basin from GBN Resources. That's a bit of a better description of where we are on the Sunda Magmatic Arc. Some really good neighbours in the area with some big results and some big deposits nearby, which gives us confidence that we're actually looking at some very highly prospective territory. So the Woyla project, 24,000 hectare, 6th generation contract of work. Now the first contract of work ever issued in Indonesia was for the Freeport mine. There are only about 20 contracts of work left in the country for gold and minerals. What's interesting about that tenure, it's actually the most secure form of tenure that you can get in Indonesia in terms of the rights that a mining company has. So we're lucky to have that tenure in this project. It was previously explored by Barrick, then Newcrest. They liked the project because Newcrest liked it because they saw it had similarities to a nearby mine that Newcrest had called Gosowong, which turned out to be a 6 million ounce project with greater than 20 ounce gold grades. We've defined on the back of the work that Newcrest and Barrick have done a 13,000 metre strike length, open in all directions, which is housing 4 prospect target areas within the low sulphidation epithermal quartz vein system. Now, we went up and got some assay results in September last year, and we saw grades of 53 grams a tonne come back, and we were shocked because the work that Newcrest and Barrick had done, they were coming about 30 grams a tonne, which we thought was great, and then to get 53 grams a tonne for gold was remarkable. So we went out and did some more work in December, And that averaged at 11 grams a tonne for across all the assay results for gold and nearly 100 grams per tonne for silver, peaking at 119 grams per tonne for gold and nearly 1,200 grams a tonne for silver. So you can imagine how excited we were. We did more work in March and we continued getting bonanza grade results. So yeah, pretty excited about what we're seeing. In terms of what we've done that Newcrest and Barrick couldn't, we have IP survey work happening on the project for the first time. Never happened before in the life of the project. We have been given, about 2 weeks ago, the environmental permit for drilling. Never happened before in the life of the project. We have the opportunity, if we wish to drill in parts of the project which we're currently doing the IP work on, or wait until we get a further permit from the government to do drilling in the area which we've had further exploration on. And at the moment, we're making a decision about which way we go. We're leaning towards doing the drilling in the area that we know we're going to get some good results in, or we hope we're going to get some good results in. So this gives you an idea of the scale of it. Like when Newcrest liked the project for Gosowong and compared it to Gosowong, you can see the little footprint of Gosowong. That's the size of the Gosowong 6 million ounce project compared to the size of our tenement. Now what you can see up there is there's 4 epithermal prospects, Anak Perak, Rek Renty, Lower Impact and Lower Rek. Now our focus at the moment is on Anak Perak and Rek Renty. They're our near-term targets for drilling. What we like about this project, not only have we defined and mapped 13 kilometres of strike length, you can see in between Rek Renty, Lower Impact and Lower Rek, little gaps on the mapping. We haven't mapped that yet. So our hypothesis is that that's one single continuous vein system, and our testing will be to confirm that. And if that's the case, we're talking about kilometres more of strike length. So our first focus in drilling will be Anak Perak. So you can see some of the results we're getting there. 119 grams per tonne across a broad cross-section of strike length. Veins 9 metres wide. That points up to 200, 300 metres wide, the vein system. The other thing which is interesting about it, we actually come across a sulphide-rich area in the southern section of the tenement, which is returning like 37.9% lead, nearly 2% zinc, nearly 2% copper. So the polymetallic characteristics that we're seeing in part of this vein system, it will be very interesting when we get to the next phase of development and operation of this project. This is the Rek Renty Prospect. You can see on the right-hand side, some traditional miners have done us a favour and they've opened up an exposed quartz vein system of about 250 metres long, 10 metres wide. The sampling we're getting out of there, again, bonanza grade, high grade gold, high grade silver. But there's a couple of things that's interesting about Rek Renty. It's about 100 metres lower in elevation than Anak Perak. So we're seeing consistently high grade gold coming out of there. And we think it supports a model that this prospect is in the boiling zone. And so the gold grades that are coming out of here is what we hope we'll find in the deep holes we put into Anak Perak, because it's about 150 metres higher in elevation than Rek Renty. The other thing that we like, and it made us excited when we got the results back, is that you can see on that sample exhibits of gingero banding, which is a textural feature that's common in high-grade, low-sulfidation epithermal bonanza-grade deposits such as Gosowong, so I get another characteristic similar to Gosowong, but also, if we're lucky, similar to something like Hishikari, which would be a great result for us. So we see this as quite a remarkable opportunity. Normally when you see results like this with the gold coming out from the miners, these have been drilled. But because of permitting issues and other issues that we've now resolved, it's never been drilled. So that's why we think we've actually stumbled onto something quite special. The other thing about Woyla, in terms of its life, now the contract of work, it has a 30-year life for a contract of work, but you can extend it for two times 10 years, so it's potentially a 50-year mine life. We're focusing on the epithermal because we think that's the easiest opportunity for us to create value for our shareholders and prove up this resource. But beyond that, there's 3 distinct magnetic anomalies in the tenement, one to the south and 2 to the north, which have the possibility for holding a decent copper-gold porphyry system. And on the Sunda magmatic arc, there is a history of copper-gold porphyries. In fact, the Butong project, which is only about 60 kilometres away on the magmatic arc, it's a 2.4 million tonne copper resource and 2 million ounce gold. So it's in a district where there is a history of porphyry, and we've defined 3 magnetic anomalies. So not our immediate term focus, but in terms of expanding the life of this mine and how interesting this project is, we have porphyry prospects to go to as well. This is the permit I spoke about. This was something that we were really proud of. We started the process back probably December 2020 when we first applied to change the forestry designation. Got that in August. We then started the process to get the environmental approval, which approves our monitoring and management plans for the drilling and exploration. We were granted that decree by the Indonesian government in May this year. Now, it covers 7,500 hectares of the 24,000 hectare project, but that 7,500 hectares covers the 4 epithermal targets and the lower Burong porphyry target. The 2 other magnetic anomalies to the north, we don't need this permit because you can see it's in the white area at the top, so it doesn't need this permit to progress those activities. So people talk about the challenges in Indonesia. Now, we think we've got a team with the experience to manage these challenges, but if you can see what we're doing here, in the space of 18 months, we've been able to take this project forward where people in the past haven't. And that sort of sums up a couple of things. We have a good agile team. We understand how to work in the system, but also Indonesia is actually being much more receptive to companies like ours coming into the jurisdiction and trying to progress exploration in what is generally an underexplored part of the world. As an example, we listed in the end of March, the Director General of the Mining Department spoke at our virtual bell ringing ceremony to welcome us to Indonesia. So the red carpet has been rolled out to us because the government wants us to succeed. Our next project, Trenggalek, we'll spend about half of our capital raised on Woyla and about a quarter of our capital on Trenggalek is our plan. What we love about Trenggalek is as I said before, it's currently got a mining license in place, but it displays similar magnetic anomalies to the Tujuh Bukit deposit, which is just to the east of it along the magmatic arc. You can see on the diagram on the left, there's Trenggalek, and then a little bit further along, there's Tujuh Bukit. Now, Tujuh Bukit, huge deposit. They were talking about one of their intercepts from a few months ago at a conference I was at last week, 970 metres at 0.7% copper from the collar. That's the sort of results they're getting in this district. So we like it because it's got a similar sized volcanic centre and it's got similar magnetic anomalies to Tujuh Bukit. We like it also because it's fairly well advanced in terms of its exploration. We have a feasibility study in place in there, and then theoretically we could build a mine. But the work that's been done in the past was focused on the epithermal deposit, and it's not particularly that interesting, to be honest. The area that we want to focus on is some of the other porphyry targets which were constrained by forestry issues, which again we've solved, so we can progress to drilling for the first time in the interesting parts of these projects. Wonogiri, 1 million ounce JORC resource, near-term development option. I have a minute and 50 seconds. So what we're doing with Wonogiri is upgrading the permit so we can operate. We're also in the process of upgrading the scoping study that was done in 2016. When that was done, gold was $1,350 an ounce and copper was $5,500 an ounce, and it showed a great little mine in the scoping study. We're going to apply today's numbers, today's economics, and see what it looks like. And we're pretty excited what we'll get out of that in the next few weeks from terms of an updated scoping study. So that's something that will come out shortly. Queensland assets, Hill 212 and Bluegrass Creek, side by side, they joined the GBM Resources Mount Coolum project. They've delivered some good high-grade results, nearly 7 grams per tonne of gold. They're showing about a 6-kilometre vein system in terms of low sulphidation epithermal. Quite early stage, but in terms of what's happening there, we've actually moved earth-moving equipment on site today to clear the path for our drilling. So we're hoping to be drilling, subject to availability of our drilling contractor in the next couple of months up there. So we're doing the road clearing and the pad preparation right now in Hill 212. So that's pretty exciting for us. Bluegrass Creek, very early stage. We're doing some early stage exploration in conjunction with the drilling in Hill 212, but we see the anomaly stretching across both tenements. And then we have Mount Clark West, which we think is a very interesting at depth porphyry copper gold molybdenum mineralisation. It's had some IP work done in the past and had some drill intercepts which have clipped what we think is the edge of a big porphyry system there. We're in the process of doing MIMDAS surveys, which will kick off at the end of this month, early next month. That will then define what the porphyry deposit might look like, because the previous work was pretty shallow IP work. This is going to be deep IP work. So I think that's me. Is that?
Yep, you're done.
Time is up. It was speed dating.
Thanks heaps, Paul. That's great.